Oh, hello. How are you? It's me again. What's up, redheads? This is about Midnight Red. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, anyway, so this is part two of my first video that you may or may not have seen, which was about how I discovered Midnight Red and what made me like them and all that. So this is about the Jingle Bash and how I met them. So Jingle Bash was December 14th, and I had just came home the day before from college because I go to college in Ohio, but I'm from Chicago, so I had to take a plane back home, and literally the next day was the show. So I got lucky, and after I had planned it all out. Like I was gonna meet Midnight Red after the show and like do their meet and greets and stuff. I thought the meet and greets were at the merchandise table after the show. I was under the impression of that. And apparently they weren't. I don't know why, but B96 stuck Midnight Red outside in the cold to take pictures. And I felt really, really bad for them, especially Joey, because he was freezing. Like, you should have seen him. I was like, Joey, are you cold? And his face is like, like literally he did not look happy at all. Well, I knew he was happy because he was taking pictures with fans, but he just wanted to get out of the cold because Cali boys do not do well in the shy in the winter. That's just a fact. I'm sorry, Joey. But anyway, so I got outside and I was literally like running towards the door because I had seen their tweets and they said they're going to be outside, and I thought that the meet and greets weren't happening since nobody was telling me like where they were. So I ran towards the door, and there were two girls like promoting Midnight Red, and they were giving out flyers and stuff. They're like, "Oh yeah, if you want to meet the guys, they're outside." I was just like, "Thank you, that's what I was looking for." And they started laughing at me and stuff. So I got in line, and I saw Hubie, and I was like, "Oh my God, Hubie, hi!" And then he walked up to me. He was like, "Hi, do I know you?" And I was like, "No, but I know you from all the videos and stuff." And he was like, "Oh, okay, what's your name?" And so I said, "Cheyenne." And he was like, "Oh, okay, you're almost there," like pointing to the line that I'm almost there to meet the guys. I was like, "I know, oh my God." And then we started laughing and stuff. And he's just so adorable. Like, I love Hubie. Who doesn't? So I got to the front of the line, or yeah, the front. And these girls went ahead of me, and I started squealing and stuff. I was like, "Oh my God!" And then Colton, he was the closest to me, like standing next to me, and so he turned around, he mocked me. He was like, "Oh my God!" And it was just hilarious because they were all like bundled up and stuff. You could barely see their faces, especially Eric and Joey. Like Joey's scarf was literally up to here, like above his nose, and then Eric had his hood on, so I could barely see his face at first. But I found him, so it's all good. So I walked up to them, and I wrote these letters for them and attached candy to the back. It was like Skittles and M&Ms. And I started handing them out. I was like, "Oh my God, you guys are real!" I had a fangirl moment. And security was like, "Oh, don't do that right now. Just give them to me." And so I was like, "Oh, okay," because I was really excited to actually hand them to the guys themselves so they could see it and be like, "Oh, thank you." So I gave it to security, and to be honest, I don't think he gave the letters to the boys because on the letters I put my Twitter name and I said, "Tweet me if you got this," which they never did, and that makes me think that they never got the letters. So yeah, that's kind of the sad part. But besides that, after I gave them the letters, I was like, "Oh my God, I don't know where to stand," because they were all, there's 5 of them, so how am I supposed to pick who I'm gonna like stand next to? I love them all. And so Thomas and Eric, they were like, "Oh, just stay right here." So I stood in between Thomas and Eric, and Thomas, he put his hands like on my arm. He was like hugging me like this. He was like, "Oh, your coat is so warm. I want it." And I was like, "I know." And to be honest, if he had like seriously asked, "Can I have your coat?" I would have given it to him because it's Thomas and I love him and I want him to be warm because I'm used to this weather. So it's not like I mean I get cold, but I felt really bad for them. I did. And so while Thomas was hugging me, I was hugging Eric like this, and then he was just like smiling, and then Colton was on the other end smiling, and Joey had his thumbs up, and Anthony, I don't know what he was doing, but he was like I'll show you the picture afterwards, but it was just hilarious. And after I took the picture, I was like, oh my god, I love you guys, bye. And Tom was like, bye, stay warm. So I got my picture, and I didn't like actually leave though, because I wanted to keep staring at them because they're just perfect. So I stood behind the guy who was taking the pictures, and I was just watching them like goof off and do all these weird, funny poses. And Colton, he made this awkward face behind one of the girls that he was taking pictures with. And so I started laughing, and he heard me, which I didn't think he did. So he looked my way, and like he started laughing with me, or smiling, like you saw that, right? And so we had a moment, and it was cute. I like to call it our Schulten moment, Cheyenne and Colton. So then they were gonna leave. So before they left, I wanted to get hugs, because you know they have the best hugs, or at least I've heard, especially Colton. So Colton was hugging this other girl, and I was like, oh, Colton, can I have a hug? And like he was about to, but Bert was pulling him back. So he was like, yeah, we gotta go, we gotta go. So I was like, oh, and that made me mad, but it's okay. And I hugged Thomas again, and I tried to hug Anthony, but he was walking away. So I was like, I love you, Anthony, you're amazing. He was like, thank you. And so they got in their van, and me and these other girls, we started waving at them through the window. So Thomas was like blowing kisses, so he blew kisses back. And then eventually we actually ran up to the van, like right there next to the window. And Thomas like kissed the glass, and this one girl like kissed the glass at the same time. So it was like they were kissing, but it was cute. And so I was like, I want that moment. So Eric was behind him, and so I knocked on the glass. I was like, Eric, Eric. And he turned around, and he waved. He was like, hey. And so I like kissed the glass, just like they did with Thomas. And then he did the same thing. And I was like, oh, we're so cute. We should date. But you know how that goes. So, and they drove off, and that was it. I haven't seen them since. But yeah, it was so amazing actually seeing them in person after a month of knowing who they were. But I was just in shock the whole time, because they were so sweet and funny. And I love them. And I'm so happy I met them. I hope I get to meet them again this year. I don't want to have to wait like a whole nother year, because I miss them a lot, and you guys are really awesome. Love you, and that's my video. I'm gonna continue enjoying my Auntie Anne's lemonade.